I am preparing to embark on my first ever science fiction adventure. And I do not have a lot of science fiction material in my collection. So I needed to go out and find some books or rules or something that would provide me with some charts and tables that I could roll on to assist me with my solo adventure. The first two books I purchased were the Books of Random Tables science fiction. And these are from Dice Geeks, and I purchased them from Amazon. They're relatively inexpensive. I believe they're $7.99 a piece, and they're relatively popular in the fantasy realm. So I figured, why not take a chance with the science fiction one? And they're the same caliber. They've got great information in them that you can use to assist with your game session. But while looking for these books on Amazon, I stumbled across Science Fiction Codex of List. So what caught my attention when I stumbled across this was the price. It was $11.99, and it's over 300 pages long. There's no art inside. This is just black and white text and lots of lists. Lots of great lists, as a matter of fact. And I got really excited when I purchased this and it showed up because even though I enjoy the books from Dice Geek, this just provided a lot more information. And since I don't have any information really to pull from, anything is going to help, and this book is going to be a great asset. Also, it's a little bit broader than just like space science fiction. It includes cyberpunk, some post apocalyptic stuff, even some modern material. So it's a little bit broader than just what I think of when I think of science fiction. Lots of great lists in this book. Also, there's a first page talks about how to roll your dice for all the different charts because this goes all the way up to a D1000, and it just explains to you how to roll your dice. And then it just goes into lists, alien artifacts, and they're just lots of lists, a little bit of descriptive information, which I think is perfect. Some of the books I've read in the past would be just a list and no other information. This kind of gives a little bit of descriptive information. There are some lists in here that are just names or there's no descriptive information, but for the most part, it's got a little bit of everything. And I was so impressed with the planet names, just names. I was so impressed with the book. The author actually has two more books in this series. So there's actually a total of 3 books, and all of them are over 300 pages long. So you get 3 tomes of list for $11.99 a piece on Amazon.com. And book 2 kind of broadens the concepts a little bit, including superheroes, more post apocalyptic stuff, uh, just good information to pull from. And they've broken down. There's some mecha stuff in here, which is kind of cool. More cyberpunk, just good stuff. And then book 3, same thing. More genres to pull from, including steampunk. There's actually battle car information in here, which I thought was kind of neat, especially since I'm a big fan of Gaslands and Car Wars. So just neat stuff. But just page after page of list after list, and they're just a great resource to be able to pull from. Now, I know a lot of people may not want to invest this much real estate on a bookshelf for the physical copies of these books. If you prefer PDFs, you can go over to Drive-Thru RPG. I did, and I found a PDF version of all these books, plus the 2 fantasy books that the authors put together, and it was in a bundle package for $3.50. So if you don't want the physical copies and you just want the PDFs, and I wanted the PDFs as well, you can get a bundle package with these 3 codexes, the 2 fantasy codexes, and some other rules for $3.50. So it's a good bargain, and you can't go wrong. And again, is the information all original content? No, it's not, but it's good content, and it's a good starting point, especially for someone that doesn't have any sci-fi information to pull from. But for my gameplay, I don't really want to have these three books on the table, and when I need a list and I need something to pull from, have to flip through each book individually. So one of the things that I'll be doing is this folder will be used for my science fiction adventure, and it's just a personnel folder that I picked up at Target. I got a box of them for like $20. I just printed off the table of content for the three books. And what I'll do is I'll be able to highlight lists that I feel I'll be going to on a regular basis. So that way I just know which book to go to, and what page to go to. And I can also make notes. These are just printed copies, so I'm not worried about ruining them in any way, shape, or form. But I'll just have easier access to the list. The in, I'll have easier access to the table of contents for the books of list. So that's one thing I'm doing. The other thing I'm doing is in my game journal that I'll be using. I'm taking some of the lists and breaking them down and making smaller lists out of them. So my game is going to require me to have access to starship names because it's obviously I'm doing a starship adventure sci-fi game. But the list in the book was 500 names long, and to me that was just too much. I didn't need that many names, and a lot of the names just didn't do anything for me. So what I did is I just went ahead and made a smaller list. And I chose names that are going to spark my imagination in some way, shape, or form. So I just didn't want cool names. Cool names are fun, but I wanted a name that might give some personality to either the space ship or the crew on the spaceship. So say I roll a 15 and I get Havoc. Havoc's kind of a cool name for a spaceship, but I can also use the name itself as a descriptor for the crew. So maybe the crew is a rowdy bunch of crew people, and maybe they like to party and cause havoc and raise havoc. Or maybe there's just havoc going on the ship. Maybe things keep breaking and it's causing havoc. Those are the kind of names that I wanted on my list. So this way, when I'm playing my game, and I roll up a spacecraft that is part of an encounter or someone they're coming across, I can kind of have some information about the spacecraft simply by the name. And I just feel this is going to make my gameplay just a little bit smoother because I don't have to roll up, find a name, and then roll on another chart about the crew personalities or the ship personalities or anything like that. The name tells the story about the spaceship, and that to me is something that I really wanted to have on my list. Like the Punisher. Again, I like the movie The Punisher. I like the TV series. I like everything about the Punisher, and I can make this ship fit the personality of the Punishers. It's a ship, going on revenge to punish the people that cause damage to something, or it could be a prison ship where people are being punished on the prison ship. There's those are the kind of names I wanted to pull from. The other thing I did is this book has a list of Starship Failures, which is going to be a central point of my adventure where starships are breaking down. And they had a D12 list, and I just kind of copied the list, but I paraphrased down the text. So for the bridge breaking down, they had a bunch of text written out. I just paraphrased it, shortened it down so it all fit on one page. I have it in my journal so it's easily accessible when I'm playing. I'll probably also print out a copy of that list and put it into my binder here. But there you go. This is my experience moving forward with my upcoming science fiction adventure that I'll be embarking on. And because I had no information really to pull from, I needed to start collecting some information. And what a great way to start collecting information with these three tomes of list. And it's not just science fiction. It's going to be cyberpunk. It's going to be steampunk, superheroes. So other game systems that I may get involved with, I'll have other lists to start pulling from. So great reference material. Again, Amazon, you can get these. I got these books for $11.99 a piece, or you can go over, if you're not into the paper, you can go over to Drive-Thru RPG. You can get the bundle package. You can buy the books separately, and I think they were 99 cents a piece. But if you really want the bundle package where you can get all three of them plus the two fantasy books, just so you can have a digital copy of the information for your gameplay and maybe just print out the pages that you want versus having to have the whole book of information, that's not a bad way to go. I'll put a link in the description below to the Drive-Thru RPG uh, bundle so that if you're looking for it. But again, great information available. I've never seen these books talked about before, and I'll say it again. It's not original information. The stuff from Dice Geeks is original, unique information. This is very generic in some sense, but it's enough to just spark my imagination while playing because I have nothing to start with. So this gives me a starting point, and the price was right. Anyways, thank you. Have a great day.